Morning, everybody. So it's snowing. It's been crazy. Anyway, they got the forecast right last night, and it's about right out our front door. It's about 2 inches of snow. It's just crazy. We're at the beach in Les Abdelong, and yeah, it's a little bit insane. We finally caught up with Ada last night, so Jane and I and Ada we were here having dinner, and about 10 o'clock, she was leaving and we opened the door, and Jesus, bucketing down, big flurries of big, what I call soap snowflakes. There's all types of different snow. Having lived in Antarctica for some time, over a year in little box chained to rocks in the windiest place in Antarctica, you learn about all the different types of snow. And these were big, like big snowflakes just drifting down. It was quite crazy. So that was a bit of excitement. So in fact, yeah. Anyway, so that's fun. And then this morning, it's all everywhere. It's quite crazy because I'm not. I haven't. I've been living here for 6 years, but the locals are saying this is very unusual. And anyway, that's kind of fun. And while we're waiting for the people, the other things there, yeah, this is our backyard. We've got a couple of boats there. We've got our rib, and we've got another big camera boat, 20, well, a 6.5 metre rib and a 6.5 metre camera boat. There's a lot of snow there. You can build a snowman. Jane's just thinking about it, contemplating going out to throw some snowballs. It's out the back end of the place. This is all about the Jester Challenge. Some of you may not know about the Jester Challenge. I think you would if you're following the MGR. It's events where there's no rules, no entry fees, no nothing. You just turn up and go, and it's for little boats. That's the original Jester. There's another little boat. You don't have to be a junk rig, but I actually bought a junk rig boat to do the Jester Challenge. It's called a Northerner 29, and it's 29 footer, but never got there, so I sold it to my mate. Long story. I bought it sight unseen. Had another adventure to do. That's Blondie Hasler's. In fact, now I pinched this picture off the web. Blondie Hasler's original one, but that might be the replica. Blondie Hasler's an amazing story. Commando in the war, did all sorts of crazy things. Built a little folk boat, turned it into Jester with a junk rig and a cabin. He was, quite a tough guy. Did all the original Lost Stars and so on. But then the boat was lost, and they built a replica. And this is looking like it's a replica, I think. After many years of doing that, it didn't get lost by him. Another guy bought the boat, and sadly, it was lost at sea. And such a famous boat, people put in a lot of money, and they built an absolute replica of the original Jester. And that looks like it might be the replica. I'm not sure. Question: where is LSO? That's Les Sables in France. It's the home of. Recognised as the home of solo sailing around the world because the Vendée Globe has been running out of here. Last 10 editions over since the. Oh well, I was actually chairman of the Shorthanded Sailing Association in Australia in 1986 when the BOC Challenge came through Sydney. That was a four-stop solo race around the world, starting in America, Newport, Rhode Island, down to Cape Town, then into Sydney, and then from Sydney around Cape Horn to Punta del Este in Uruguay, one of the really nice places in the world, and then back up to Newport, Rhode Island. I had hoped to enter that 86 race, but I hadn't have my boat finished. I built a 50-footer, and the hull was sitting in a paddock unfinished. So anyway, I'd formed a Shorthanded Sailing Association, and I was the Sydney stopover chairman. Sir Robert Knox Johnson was the overall race chairman, and it was there that the whole concept of the Vendée Globe started. I was, knew all the guys. I was there with Philippe Jonteau and Titoine Lemazou and a whole bunch of them. Guy Bernardin and so on. Anyway, that was the first discussion about a solo non-stop round the world that evolved into the Vendée Globe, and the first Vendée Globe was about 3 years later in 1989, I think it was, and then I finally got to do the BOC in 1990. So that happens out of Les Sables in France. It's on the Atlantic side. You can easily find out where Les Sables is, and we've been running our Golden Globe races out of here for since 2018. So we've been living here for the last 6 years or something, and it's a great place. It's an amazing coastal village. Got one of the great beaches of the world. It's one of the people they're in the top 100 beaches in the world for Sable Alone, and it's right on the beach on the Atlantic coast. And yes, weather's changing, but when I look out the window here now, is blue sky, not a breath of wind. The trees are all white, our boats are all white, and the snow's about 2 inches thick out the door because there was a snow flurry, obviously. And there's a coating of about 1 inch of snow everywhere, and in areas it's a couple of inches, so you can build a snowman and so on. So Jane's pretty impressed. She's out there having a bit of fun now. So anyway, I digress. Oh, I didn't mention about the Jester challenge. So what's happening is I put a post up yesterday everywhere else. There is a Jester sort of weekend up in a couple of hours north of London in England on February the 21st and 22nd. Jane and I are going. I really get it with the Jester Challenge. It's an amazing situation. And if you've got a 580 and you want to do the Azores race, they have a race from London to the Azores, and they stop over and have a few parties, and then they sail from the Azores back again. It's sort of like a fun race. And they allow boats right down to 20 odd feet or whatever it is, I think. So we're going to talk about that, and I think there might be a chance that we could get some 580s into the Jester Challenge there. So that's a bit of fun. They also do a transatlantic as well. So there's some similar philosophies there, and one of the Jester guys just joined the. In fact, I think the entries open for the Golden Globe race yesterday. We've got like 4 people. Boom, 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 boom. I think they're all fighting to get in first. And I think it's the Jester guy, one of the guys who's been doing the Jester Challenge. He was the very first entry in the 2030 GGR. Anyway, so a bit of fun. But anyway, I was talking to John, David rather, the coordinator, and there is 6 seats left because it's on the Saturday afternoon. It's all talking about solo sailing and Jester and stuff. I'm doing a half-hour presentation, and then everyone stays, and then in the morning on Sunday, there's another morning session talking about boats and Jester and all that sort of stuff, and then there's a lunch. So there's a dinner on Saturday night, and then there's most of them are staying around for an informal lunch on Sunday, and then drive back down to London. So if anyone wants to go, look at the post. It's on Class Globe 580 and also on the Transat. I didn't put it on here, but and David McDowell, his email address is on the on the thing. It could be a bit of fun. Great bunch of people. You've got to be slightly nuts to want to do an event like that, similar to what we do. Anyway, that's life. I digress, but the snow's fun. So let's go to the tracker and think of the boys and girls sailing in the tropics, heading north, all that sort of stuff, having a great time. Who was I speaking to yesterday? Something about it. Had a few people contact me and talking about the MGR. It's really quite cool. You're on the tracker. Now I'm on the tracker. So there it is. And look at that. Oh, I'm telling Kerry exactly what to do. And Urton slowing over, going over to the run line. Everyone needs to get to the run line quick because you can see already over here it's getting light. So Kerry's made the most dramatic move. He's just boom, boring across. Spoke to Urton, that's right. He rang up with Arzu, had a chat about other stuff. And he's slowly going to the west, which is the key element, not too quick, so you're not sailing away from the mark, and slowly bearing down. Renault's still charging ahead, dead ahead, so looking fun. And Kerry's finally just about to pass the first boat, which she'll be excited about. Got a bit of a target. So Kerry's not the end. I think Josh is. So Josh doing 4.2, 87 mile day, and Kerry doing 5.1 and 21 mile day. So he took a bit out of Josh. So 121 mile day. Urton 109, so gaining on Urton, doing 4.9. Urton's having an amazing time. He's loving it right now. They all are, but Urton's a communicator. So 5.1 knots for Eric and 114 mile day. Jasmine, I don't know if hopefully you've all seen her interview. It was kind of fun. One of her emotional interviews. We'll be putting them up every couple of days now. 5.3 knots for Jazz, 117 nautical miles. So Kerry's gaining on a few boats right now. Ooh, there's a bird right out the front door. Pretty cool looking bird playing on the window frame in snow. Okay, Christian. Oh, I've got your T-shirt behind me, Christian. I wasn't going to wear it because it's too bloody cold. But I'll pop it up on the screen. Promise. 5.6, 120 nautical mile day. Actually, your T-shirt calls it domestic, Christian. I got the green one. Jane got the black one. She tried to steal my green one. Anyway, so that's pretty respectable. Christian's on the hunt. They're all bunched up there, gaining on Peeler. Haven't heard from Peeler. Peeler, what's going on? Call me. 5.7 for Peeler, 122. So, oh yeah, you two. Okay, you're a bit faster than Christian. And Adam, cheapest. So I'm just looking at the boats here, scrambling. 119 mile day for Adam, doing 5.4. Not quite a beam of Peeler, 5.7, 122. Jacob is absolutely in front of Peeler. Wanted to stress the point, so it moved right in front. I probably have this a little bit too small scale, but look at that, boring ahead of Peeler. Who would have thought when they left the Atlantic, or not the Atlantic, when they left Lanzarote across the Atlantic, or all the rest of it, that Jacob would now be boring ahead of Peeler. 6.1 knots for Jacob. Jeepers. 126 mile day. Jeepers. Gaining on Daniel. Jeepers. This is nuts. Daniel. 5.9. 125 mile day. Daniel. Jacob took a mile out of you. Something's going on. Oh boy, this is fun. Look at that. Bloody Reno. 6 knots and 131 mile day. So this is what you call sailors sailing. It's showing sailors. I think the weather's reasonably consistent here, and there's a bit of fun going on. I think I'm going to change the notice of race and demand that the boat running third on leg 3.5 has to call the race office to explain what's going on. Okay, so I'll issue that in the notice of race today. So Jacob, careful, you might get a penalty if you don't call. That's a lot of fun. I don't know what's going on, but it's amazing. Imagine if Jacob gets second place. Jeepers. Okay, I'm a bit slow this morning. Although I made a New Year's resolution. 2026 is the year of laughter. So be careful. What can I tell you? Right, let's look at the weather. Boy, you can really see it's fading away here. They need to get to the left. Let's see if that's the way it's going to pan out. Hang on a sec. I'll come down here. Jamestown in St. Helena is just over the horizon. And before we go there, I'll just tell you what's going on there with the distance, so just generally to the mid-pack there, about 500 miles. So at this rate, it's about 4.5 days. And it's now the 6th, so they're going to, I think the leaders will probably come in on the 10th, which is what we've been saying for a while. It's a pretty quick passage, jeepers. It's not too bad at all. And while we're doing distances, jeepers, come on. Sorry, I'm a bit slow. I'm just going to show you the split on the pack. I could do it by the count, but sometimes it's easier for my mathematical brain just to measure it. So Dan is about, starting the course, is about 35 miles behind Reno, okay? And Jacob, listen to this, is 48 miles behind Reno after 9 days, so 7, 8, 9 days, yeah. And the lead pack is only 83 miles behind. It's not bad. The split with Kerry, right down the back here, I don't think, well, you wouldn't have gained because Kerry's come across a bit and Renault's got the biggest distance. So Kerry slipped behind. So Kerry is now 275 miles behind Renault. Renault was 250, 260 miles ahead previously. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, we got that. We're going for the weather now, 2 days ahead. We're looking at what's going on. You can see clearly the wind is on to the west. Going to push it through every 3 hours. Here we go. Boom, boom. Yep. Oh, fading in front for Reno will keep up there to keep the breeze, but there is some light stuff coming in the next 24 hours. But will that happen? Yeah, it's fading for the fleet. Now you want to be well to the west of the run line. There's a bit more, but it's not worth going over there. So it's going to be slow. It's 5, 6, 7, 8. It's going to be slow. They might not make it there until I was saying the 10th. It could be the 11th. And it's coming up from behind, so you might get a bit of compression there, but not a lot. That's the 9th. Yeah, a drifter to the finish. So yeah, if that holds true, there's the 10th. Oh, Renault might, and the lead pack might follow that breeze all the way to the finish. So generally, it's pretty evenly spread, but there might be a little bit of an advantage for the people at the back. Not much, not substantial. So I think Kerry's going to be a couple of days behind Renault coming in. He's got 4 days on Peeler. So anyway, either way, nice sailing. There's probably no point, but I will look at the sea state over that period. Yeah, look at that. All blue, all blue, all blue. They're going to be bored. No currents there to speak of. Oh, favourable current. That's helping them. That's favourable current at the moment. That's probably a half a knot, something like that. And it's coming across. It's a pretty radical change. It's stopping. But that's interesting. A bit of a cycle in and out. And the clouds. Are they getting sunburnt or not? There's the clouds now. No, it's nice. 8, 9, 10. Did I tell you predict wind? Want me to swap over to predict wind? I'm using windy at the moment. I've always been using windy. Predict wind is okay. Let's have a discussion about that. And in fact, I think I can show you here. This is interesting. It was a spur of the moment decision. Let me come back to wind, and I'll just show you something here. I'm not getting supported by windy. I'm not getting supported by predict wind, but it's interesting. Some of you might like to know the difference. On the app on your phone, it's a little bit different, but here we go. So if I now go over to predict wind, see how it's these little arrows. Now I'm not going to disagree with the fact that most sailors think predict wind is more accurate forecasting. So just be aware of that. But to the best of my knowledge, on this map from YB3, all we get is these little triangles, and that's enough. These are set up for downloading on grid files. It's easy to understand rather than big graphic, which is up like a video program. You get these little triangular arrows, which aren't as what I call user friendly for the average person who doesn't know how they work. And if we were to scale this back, you'll see it's covering a general area where the boats are, and the arrows are changing. You can see there's the system there. That's like a high pressure system going around, and they still use the same color gradients and things like that, but it's just not as graphic. It's not as user friendly on this tracker. Okay, Predict Wind itself has similar graphics to Windy, but it's not available on the YB tracker. So YB are doing a new tracker. I've seen the draft of that. It's available now, testing the prototype, and I think it's got the graphic impression of wind the same as Windy that I'm using now, and Predict Wind. So you got the choice. And a friend of mine was mentioning the other day, I think you're a bloody pirate. You're not using Predict Wind, but that's the answer. So Predict Wind want to talk to me. Oh, jeepers. Anyway, I digress. We'll get out of here, come back there, say g'day, read the reports, and go from there. Rightio. Now, where's my phone? Here we go. Did I tell you it's snowing? It's quite crazy. We're going to have a snow fight shortly when we get out of here. I promise not to pick up rocks when I'm picking up the snow. People do that because only 2 inches stick in the big pockets. Oh, Jane will brain me. Rightio. Entrant reports. Here we go. Oh, before I do, look, I said to Argo, he's got the best t-shirts. Pretty much everywhere he goes. This is an Argo t-shirt. That looks pretty boring, doesn't it? Pretty ordinary. But it's got 580 on the sleeve and all that sort of stuff. This caused a huge domestic yesterday. I had to struggle to survive. But look at the back, the graphics. Ooh, there's Argo, Christmas tree boat. Nice t-shirt. I said to Argo I would wear it, so imagine it, but it's too bloody cold. So I'll wait until the weather gets good. It's snowing. How can I wear your t-shirt, Kristen? Anyway, radio Entrant reports. Yesterday, Jasmine. We read Jasmine. So yesterday, Adam, Little Ren, trade winds, lovely sailing. Oh, I might have read this because it's 7:30 report. Yeah, what I thought might be a passage with lots of light stuff's turning out. Yeah, you read Adams. Renault. Cheap as it's French, and I didn't translate it. Alaire's been a fabulous passage, gentlemen, for Capuchin. He's having a good time. He's vague on the ranges, on the distances. Vague, short ranges. I think he's not sure of the range or something. Yeah, grand blue. It should. Grand weather. Grand blue sea and sky. Le nuit announced avec the blue lune. What else? I think he's saying the night's going to announce the blue. No, he's saying announce no blue. Maybe it's the overcast. What else? The question mark. So that was his official report. Sorry, my French is not so good. Although you probably heard me when the courier came. So tout suite, that means really fast. Come on, hurry up, tout suite. We'll be there. Blah blah blah. Okay, Peter Punk. I hope you've all been good because the three wise men bought me coal. That's weird. With a worried look on their face. Bought me coal. Peter. Oh, that means something's causing her to slow down. Peter Punk. This is what she says in English. I hope you've all been good because the three wise men brought me coal instead of. I think she's saying she's lucked out on the weather. Maybe she's something going on there. Eric Sunbear today. The conditions have changed from pristine to variable winds and poor sea state. Not much good for sleeping. Still moving along and all is well. Today, cloudy and showers about. Cheers. Okay, that's interesting. So those clouds did bring overcast, a little bit tropical, I suppose. BB, big one from Jake. I haven't read it. This is cool. BB is enjoying her journey. Happy to be back on our beautiful Atlantic. After a few days of messy and confusing sea, we are in ocean southeast trades. I think I found BB's G point. He's got the G spot. Right, don't go there. And she got excitingly faster, so I keep... Oh, this could be R-rated. Right, all you children, go home, okay? Okay, I'm trying to read ahead before what I'm saying. I think I found BB's G spot, and she got excitingly faster. So I keep rubbing it. Oh, you meant to do it like that. And we have been having a wonderful time. As these in the last leg, lots of reflection goes through my mind. As these in the last leg, lots of reflection goes through my mind. I'm so happy I went for these adventure and feeling so fulfilled. Also very grateful for having such good people around helping me, and extremely proud of my daughter and son for being so emotionally mature and supporting of me and to each other. Well, that's pretty cool. He's having fun. I love seeing things like that. People get it. And so do I. We had a big philosophical chat about the meaning of life yesterday because of something that happened here yesterday or a couple of days ago, which was kind of sad, but not with us. Anyway, but yeah, one day we'll all look back and say, cheapers, that was quick. So, yeah, everyone's out having a go, which is great. All right, get the comments done and then we'll get out of here. Crazy day, good fun. Boy, okay. Go back here, okay. Storenucher, oh, junk rigs. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm a big fan. Oh, boy, if Graham's watching this, he may not because it's late in Australia. Graham is a big fan of junk rigs, and I'm not. What would you say? I won't call myself a big fan of junk rigs, but I get it entirely. Junk rigs are very efficient sailboats, super easy to handle, and quite cool. It's just that you got to build your own. There's no production boats with junk rigs, and a lot of people are not inclined to get there, so they've never been really popular. But they're really smart. Yeah, junk rigs are very clever indeed. I met I forget what you call them. So I'll say I'm not being disrespectful, but I've met a dwarf, a short person, little people. I forget. Sorry if I offended anyone then. Sailing this is in the early days when I was sailing my junk 29. I had a little 29 footer, very narrow, very short, blah blah blah. Cruising for 3 years, and bugger me, I see this beautiful yellow folk boat with a junk rig on it, and it was just like, wow, that's cool. It was really slick, and I'm sailing along, I'm gaining on him slowly. There's a little guy on board, little guy, little boat, little junk. For him, it was a big boat, and we spent about a week or so together. In fact, Graham may remember this guy because it was in the same era. I forget, but it was a fantastic boat. Graham, if you're watching, I hope you did. I've got some slides of him somewhere. Anyway, little guy on his little boat, which was his big boat, and it was a lot of fun. He was a cool guy, cool dude. That one, I forget his name, but that was funny. Anyway, Ruth, where is LSO? You've got that in Les Sables d'Olonne in France here. And Val, I've never seen snow, really. Well, Jane was, I took Jane to Antarctica quite a few times. And she would have seen snow, but not here. And it was the really nice snow last night. There's big flakes. And when you get down to them, you can see all the little shapes in there as well. Just amazing. So it was quite fun. We were all having fun last night. No problem. So you would have seen snow for sure in your trips. Val, won't happen. What's not going to happen? I'm not sure. You got to laugh. 26 is the year of laughter. That's my statement. So we're laughing a lot, but I always do. I have this silly, nervous laugh, but that's just me. But I have proper laughs too. Jacob using his outboard. No, not at all. You can't. You can tell, the outboards only happen when it's really calm, first of all, because if it's rough, the outboard it can't get any thrust, and you don't waste the power. And, they've got breeze, so he's just sailing. So he's found the G spot. It'll take a while living that down because he's rubbing the G spot. He's been at sea too long. It's like, I nearly cracked a bad joke there. It's like when you're a solo sailor, people ask how you get away with it. It's like going to the supermarket, self-service, Anyway, we won't go there. He's talking about G-spots and rubbing it and stuff. Anyway, so Johannes says a question for MGR or GGR boats about the bowsprit. What is your class regulation or GGR opinion on using a chain bobstay versus using stainless steel wire bobstay? Well, the loads, there's no rule. You've got a bowsprit, you can do what you want. But that's really, I'm always amazed. And I'll give you an example on Tracker. I just used a bit of rope, I had a donut hanging down, a little strop, and then there's a stainless steel saddle bolted through the stem, and you just use a bit of rope there. I forget what it was. It was a non-strap rope, like a high-tech rope, which you're allowed to use in Thingo, and just do lashings and pull it down nice and tight so that when you slack, the bowsprit is just bent down a little bit, right? That's all you need to do. It's light, simple, easy to repair if you have there. And it's never going to pull the bowsprit up. But Entrant, being the more traditional sailor, he took that off and he put a big stainless steel wire with a big rigging screw and boom, and it's a stainless steel wire. And you could use a bit of chain. You can use anything. All you're trying to achieve is stop the bowsprit moving up. So it's up to the owner. There's no restriction. You can use whatever you want, But today, it takes a bit of a rethink on your psychology, because if you've been sailing a long time, like me and others, even your lifelines and so on, you tend to think you've got to have stainless steel wire in your lifelines. There's absolutely nothing wrong with using high-tech rope. Using rope lifelines instead of wire, as long as you don't have chafe points. You've got to be careful about that, because if you've got a chafe point through a stanchion, you're going to cut the rope really quick, but that's not hard to solve. So anyway, using ropes these days for lots of different things is quite relevant and quite a viable option, except for your standing rigging. This is an interesting point as well. You get composite rigging. Instead of using wire on your cap shrouds and your lowers, you get composites. That's all pretty good, but the stuff that's been happening in the last say 10 years, and it's getting better and better and high tech, and you can put covers on it. But one of the things is that fades in UV. Had a really nice Vancouver 34, and a Japanese lady. There's lots of backstories, but the short story: Japanese lady sailed it solo around the world, and it came up for sale, and it was an absolute bargain, beautiful boat, potentially for the GGR, and I recommended a guy buy it, but it just got sold. Just as it happened, it had composite rigging, but the rigging was shot in the sun, and so it's like replacing standing stainless steel running rigging. There's no easy answers for composites, and we don't allow composite rigging on the 580 because the cost of the stainless standing rigging is not high, and it's easy to understand. Whereas small diameter composite rigging really works. There's lots of advantages to it, but it's not easy for us to manage it in a regular way. So we haven't allowed composite rigging in the 580. It's got to be stainless. And another interesting one I've been following a lot more now. Okay, on the MGR you can use lithium batteries. There's lots of restrictions or requirements if you've got lithium batteries, and the reason we did that is because lithium, it as you probably know, it puts more in, takes more out. You can really take the battery right down, and it doesn't damage the battery, and you can put more in. You can ram the power in if you've got a lot, and things like that. And they're a lot lighter. You save a lot of weight. So we allowed it for the MGR as our first trial run, and there's a lot more risks involved with lithium. And when we had that so-called fire at Christmas, that was my first assumption of it. Regulator failed, batteries overcooked and exploded, or short circuit or something. Anyway, that was the end of AI. But but I've been looking at it. LifePo is another version of the battery, which is not like a normal battery. It actually has electronics in it to look after it. There's lots of little cells of lithium in there, and blah 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 blah. And they are getting really good. They're got all the benefits and a lot less risk and so on with LifePo. And the prices are now comparable because I was just looking at buying one. 100 amp hour LifePo battery is costing about the same now as a 100 amp hour AGM battery. But it's not quite there yet. And the problem with all these things is some of the boats have now got AGM and so on. So we allow lithium in the MGR, but we don't allow it in anything else. So if you're doing the Transat, you've got to have it AGM or gel batteries. And it's, at some point, that'll change, but it's not quite yet. And it's interesting because the Class 40, if you know Class 40s, 40-foot Grand Prix racing boats, carbon fibre, everything, you can spend $1 million or more on a Class 40 now. Some of the hot boats are spending $1 million. Or you can go and buy an old one, hull number 100 or something like that. And their boats like that are racing two-handed around the world in a really cool two-handed event. And actually, Mikhail, who was racing the 580 in the first Transat in 2021 with his boat, called Ironman, what was it called? I forget now. Anyway, he's doing the Global Solo Challenge, which is a pursuit solo non-stop race around the world, and he's going to buy one of the older Class 40s and do it in that. I digress. But still, in the latest rules of the Class 40, because they've got very strict rules, guess what? No lithium batteries. They're still not allowed in the top class racing. They've got to be AGM or gel. So we're not there yet, but it's getting close. We might look at that, but not the. It might be that still not 4 years yet. Anyway, I digress. So it's like rudders, but we won't go there yet. We'll have to wait and see. And I'm just about to do a builder's update to all the builders. The backrest and the settees are compulsory. I finally got the dimensions of spec. I did that yesterday. I wanted to do it out, and so it's going to be there. So, and it's easy to retrofit that. So that'll be compulsory for the MGR. If you're buying a boat that doesn't have a backrest on the settee, this is all tied up with stacking of the gear in the boats and water ballast and all that sort of stuff. So you're going to have to put a backrest on your boat for the Transat and for the MGR. Okay, I digress. We get out of here. Can I do routing on? Hang on a sec. I'm putting the questions up, by the way. I meant to do it yesterday, but we got distracted. It was a big day. And snowing in Paris, Garth. Yeah, I could believe it. Garth, can I do routing on board using Adreno? No, you can't use any routing. Routings are particularly banned. There's a bit of honour involved there. We don't want people to be all using routing programs because they all go the same way, and there's no one's thinking So any routing program in your computers or anything on your GPS and all that stuff is specifically banned. You've got to think about where you want to go. It's free weather. You can use any weather, but no routing at all. So, Craig, you're late. Oh, you missed the snow, mate. You go and have a look. I think Jake's post was meant for his significant other. Got to pay better attention to the number he's texting. Could be. Could be. He didn't send any photos, though. Bugger. Anyway, sounds like Peeler may have equipment issues, explaining her slower pace. Maybe a torn sail. Yeah, she might not want the others to know, but I'm not sure. But there's something going on there. No problem. Okay, that's it. Thanks very much, everybody. Stay warm. Cheapers, that was half an hour. Like, share, tell your friends, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you. See you later.